All right, so now we're going back to the second one that we just left off on. So first thing we need is our vertex. Okay, so the equation is ax minus h squared plus k. Well, here, do my signs match? No. So it's not a positive 4, it's a negative 4. It's the opposite of that because they don't match. Here, do my signs match? No. Negative 2. Okay, so whatever is outside is the same, whatever is inside is opposite. So maybe write that. Inside equals opposite. Outside equals the same as the sign. Okay, so back 4 and down 2. This graph's a little bit tricky because it's going by 2, so you need to make sure and be aware of that everything is going by 2s. So I need my first point. Okay, so if I'm finding my point on this, I'm making an xy table. The first thing to the right of that is really negative 3, but it's in between those two. So we can jump to negative 2 and do negative 2 because it'll come out a better point. So you're going to have 4 times negative 2 plus 4 squared minus 2. So that's going to give me 4 times 2 squared minus 2. Well, 2 squared, remember you want to do the squared first, is 4 minus 2. 16 minus 2 is 14. So that's the ordered pair, negative 2, 14. So back 2 and up to 14. This has a huge jump on it. Okay, so this one is 1 away, so we're going to go 1 away to this side. And this is a really steep graph. Well, what makes that really steep graph? This 4 that's out in front of there. All right, then this last one. First, what's my a value? 2. Okay, well, if 4 made it steep, this is going to be kind of steep. What's my h value? My h value is going to be negative 2. Because remember, it should say minus h, so it's the opposite of that because it doesn't say minus h. My k is negative 3 because it's the same, or the opposite if you think about it that way. Your axis of symmetry should be equal to your h value, so x equals negative 2. So as we start to graph this, so my vertex is back 2 and down 3, because remember it's hk for our vertex. Then our axis of symmetry goes right through there. So we answered the next question already. What is the vertex? Negative 2, negative 3, because it's hk. Now, if we're finding a point, what's the next thing to the right of the blue dot that we're working with? Well, that's x equals negative 1. That's this line that goes up and down. So when I make my xy table, I'm going to put negative 1 in there and do 2, negative 1 plus 2 squared minus 3. So then 2 and 1 squared minus 3, which gives me 2 minus 3, which is negative 1. So the point that I have is negative 1, negative 1. Okay, so back 1, down 1. So this is 1 away from my axis of symmetry, so I'm going to go 1 away this way. So my reflected point is back 1, 2, 3, negative 3, down 1. Okay, so then you have that. All right, so our domain and range, we're going to come back to domain and range another day, but your maximum and minimum is definitely an interesting part to this. So do you have a highest point or do you have a lowest point? Well, this is my lowest point. It's my vertex that's always going to tell me. So my vertex on this, we said, was negative 2, negative 3, and that is a minimum. Because on this graph, your vertex is the smallest point. Now, if my graph were to go this way, then that point would be my maximum because it's the highest. But that is not the case. Okay, so then the last part of this says to describe the translation. So what happened to this? Well, this 2 out in front made it steeper. So you could also call it narrow. Then this plus 2 moved it to the left 2 because it's the opposite of what you think. And then this moved it down 3. Okay, so all of those different parts tell you what it should be.